What is going on, everybody? Thank you for clicking the link. This is your boy Crisis 20. So today, guys, I got some more Anthem news for you guys, okay? It's gonna be good. So today you'll be learning about how big the Strider is. Is it big or is it small? Can you craft an Anthem? There is a new ability that the Colossus has with his shield. Stay tuned for that one. That's gonna be good. I'm going to speak a little bit more about the Javelin skill tree, party balances, and so much more. Stay with me, guys, because you know that everything I do will take you to the next level. All right, this is what you guys will be learning today. All right, so I know you guys are excited as I am, so let's just jump right into it. All right, this information you can find on Anthem websites or Mark Dara tweets. I will put the information down below in the description, or I might leave a card. So let's just jump right into it. This information that I'm providing you right now is going to be Javelin based. All right, so here we go. So I have here a tweet by Collapsible, and he asks, when some javelins go down, will the teammates have to revive that player, or will that javelin just respawn? Mark Dara replies, you can be revived by teammates, but you can respawn after a time as well. So it's sort of like Battlefield. You wait for the medic and he'll heal you, and then pretty much you're back up on your feet. I like that approach better. I like how you can just wait and be revived and then come back in the game. You know, it just makes it feel like you have a second chance, a second win to just do a little bit better or fix what you were trying to do in the beginning. I always think that's a plus. So now I have information about the customization. All right, the purchasable items on Anthem website. They say that we will have purchasable vanity, but you will see what you get before you buy. No loot boxes, no pay for power. You can also earn vanity items. All right, they go on to say another big question was around microtransactions in Anthem. The only microtransactions that will be available at launch are cosmetic personalization options, and you will know exactly what you're getting. All upgrades that affect your gameplay will be earned by in-game progression, and you will also be able to get personalization options through progression as well. So let's take this back a couple steps. All right, pretty much they're just saying you can buy purchasable items at launch. Okay, so that is available to you, and also when you progress through the game you'll get them too. So I think that's pretty cool. You'll always have a chance to customize your javelin throughout the game. So this next tweet is by Attrition, and he's basically talking about meeting other javelin. Attrition asks, does this mean they're actually physically here, meaning you could meet people without forming a group, or just appearing somewhere on your HUD available for a potential invite? Mark Dara replies and says they are physically there. So basically he's just trying to say, if I'm out there roaming throughout the realm of Anthem, will there be people there? Will there be NPCs, or will there be physical people? So Mark Dara is just saying, yeah, there'll be physical people. There'll be people like you and me, and there is that chance for a potential invite or help during the mission. So it's not going to be a whole bunch of people like Destiny in a shared space, but it's going to be 4 people there in that same realm, which I find a little odd, a little too small at the same time, but it is what it is. That's what they're going for, so just got to deal with it. Now this next one here is about the Storm Javelin. Okay, I have 2 tweets here, and it just mind boggles me, but I'm gonna explain. Check this out, right? So I have 2 tweets about the Storm Javelin. I have Ethan asking Mark Dara, does the Storm have infinite flight? Looking at the gameplay, I never saw Storm touch the ground. And Mark Dara replies, I believe it has infinite hover. Infinite hover. Okay, keep that in mind. Now check this other tweet out by Eduardo. He asks, we can clearly see that the Storm doesn't have a jetpack, so technically it can't overheat. Does this mean he can fly indefinitely? Plus, you already mentioned he can hover infinite. Mark Dara replies and says it can overheat its power core. So it has infinite hover, guys. Infinite hover, meaning standing still, it can hover and it could just stand there all day. But the Storm Javelin can actually overheat its power core. The thing in my head is, can you fly? When you notice that your power core is about to overheat, can you just stop and then hover? Like, will it recover or something like that? That's my first thing. I might have to ask him about that, because that's something that's on my mind, kind of messing with my head here. But it's just something to think about, you know? So also in my readings, all of you guys can use the same javelin. Check this out. So on Anthem website, you can all use the same javelin if you want. In Anthem, the different javelin models are not dependent on one another in terms of role. A team of 4 identical Ranger javelins may find themselves at a disadvantage sometimes, but it is still a viable option for a team. Meaning y'all can roll as all Storm if y'all want to, but it might be a little hard because you don't have a Colossus to run through a bunch of bombs with the shield. You know what I'm saying? So it might be different and difficult depending on the mission, but it's not impossible. I think there probably will be some scenarios in Anthem where everybody's just gonna rock the same javelin, but me personally, I wouldn't do that. I would just switch up if a person wants me to switch up, or if I just feel like I don't want to be the same class as everybody else, I definitely would switch up. So now, since we're on the topic of parties and, you know, group of 4, here's something also interesting as well. On Anthem website, they're saying that we will balance the game somewhat to your party size, but most of our balance is assuming a party of 4. The more people in your party, the merrier you'll be when your team doesn't get bulldozed by a boss. So basically they're saying you can run with just 2 people and try to do your best, but most likely when you get to the boss, you might get hosed down. As opposed to their system, when you go through missions, are made for parties of 4, so it's just easier if you just roll with 4 people. So, and I think the way they have their UI and design, that nobody should have a problem finding 4 people. That's what I think anyway. So as we currently know, javelins have the ability to progress in some sort of tree, right? But the pilot has to as well. So check this out. So Mike Gamble says you'll also have progression on your pilot too. You'll be able to customize the look of your human pilot and upgrade their abilities. You won't be able to attach their mortar launcher to them. That's just for javelins. Michael's just giving the difference, right, of what pilots could do as opposed to what javelins could do. So don't think that it's all just a javelin tree. There will be a pilot tree as well. So while we're on trees, here's another piece of information. You have a freelancer who has a skill tree that applies to all javelins. So now, if you upgrade as a pilot, I'm thinking that it affects all of the javelins. So let's hear what else Anthem has to say. As your pilot goes on missions and gains experience, they'll get better at operating javelins and get additional efficiency out of them in the form of your pilot skill tree. Your javelins will each have their own separate tree that also progresses as each javelin gains experience. For pilots, you have a skill tree. That skill tree will transfer from javelin to javelin, but when you're in the javelin has its own skill tree to progress and gain the abilities in that particular javelin. So if like you have 2 different types of skill trees, which I think might be complex too, by the way. I think there will be a lot of customization and things to tweak inside of both of the trees too. So I think that's going to be a complex system. I think it's going to involve a lot of creativity and combinations of things to try out. And lastly, guys, the Colossus has a new ability that Mark Dara let us know about. Check it out, right? My son and I are really looking forward to playing Anthem. Can the Colossus use its shield in a more straightforward offensive way, such as a shield bash or running into enemies? Mark Dara replies, yes. So there you have it, guys. So now, thanks to Kermit, we now know that you can use the shield more than just a defensive item. So maybe we might see some running with his boosters and run into an enemy, or maybe they have a shield throw or something like like in Captain America, some damn shield throw. but I think that'll be very interesting to see. So this information from here on out is just random, just different stuff I found out about the game that you probably haven't heard of. All right, emotes. They're saying that it's going to be a big part of the game. Let's read. On Anthem website, they say emotes are a big part of the game and are customizable as well. The flare functionality on the exosuit is actually mapped to an emote, so you can use it to signal points of interest. Mark mentioned the possibility of more combat animations, but just something they're looking into. Oh, and there's no dabbing yet. So this is pretty cool because this feature reminds me of Monster Hunter. If you guys played Monster Hunter, there's a button you can press and it signals a flare. So basically what that means is when you signal the flare, people that are just coming into the game and then going into the mission search area in that game, you can see what mission they're doing and which mission is signal flared. Then they would come in no matter what level they are and help you out. So on the opposite side, you'll just see people come in while you're fighting the monster and they will help kill the enemy in that particular mission. So I think this is a great idea. If it's this same concept, I think this is a great idea for them. Now, the Strider. How big is the Strider? Strider seems to be pretty big. Let's check this out. On Anthem website, they say, unfortunately, you will not be able to experience the thrill of plodding along at a snail's pace in a walking 5-story transport vehicle. You will need a license for that, and only Haluk has one. So 5 stories. Now I wonder if it's going to be something along the lines of Mass Effect, where it has many levels and compartments and different things you can do inside of the Strider. Because the Strider looks pretty huge. Maybe the actual legs are the stories and just not the actual inside of it. But hey, who knows? Maybe they might have 5 stories of different levels of customizations or things you could do inside of the Strider. I'm thinking it's going to be huge. I think it might be a lot like Mass Effect. So they're saying you can craft in a game. Anthem saying we have nodes that you'll harvest for crafting, including plants. And they make a little joke and say, yes, you budding botanist, there will be a time to stop and smell the flowers and then rip the flowers out and put them in your pockets. Where are pockets on a javelin, you ask? That sounds like a great question to tweet at Mark Dara. So we now know there will be some type of crafting of some sort, and obviously plants are involved, so maybe tied to healing or something like that. Who knows? But we now know that there's items to pick up while you are on your missions venturing the world. Here's the tweet from Ryan. He asked, hey, you probably won't see this, but I wanted to know if you could grind enemies found around the world for endgame loot, or if it will be an activity exclusive like Raids in Destiny. Mark Dara says both. So this is good. All right, this is good because you don't want to be locked to going into strongholds just to get endgame loot, just like Destiny. You also can get endgame loot by just killing enemies in the outside realm too. So that is very cool. Maybe they might have a public event where you go and you kill this big old boss and then you get endgame loot. So maybe it's something like that, but that's very helpful because you don't want to be stuck down to doing strongholds just to get endgame loot. So I think that was a good idea by Anthem. BSN BioWare Forums asks, on difficulty, was the difficulty setting in the demo a whole game setting, easy / normal / hard, or was it information that the objective was normal for the level? It seemed the former, as the objective was not initially set. Mark Dow replies, in the demo we balanced it pretty easy behind the scenes. Technically, he didn't answer his question, but they did leave an interesting point. If you look closely at the maps, you would see that under the objective, there's the difficulty on normal, and then when it goes over to objective, scars, and villainy, there's also the difficulty there as well. I don't think there's 2 different difficulties. I just think it just moved on from you choosing the difficulty in the actual beginning, which is the first screen that you see on the left. And it just stays with it. It's like tabbed almost, and then it keeps that tab format and just keeps going. So I just think it's just one difficulty across the board. I don't think there's two different difficulties per mission and things like that. So at least not in the way this menu looks like. I think that's what he's basically trying to ask, but it's all under one setting, not two. Another tweet here, Christina asks, this is a little bit off topic, but I heard a rumor that some core components that make a BioWare game so special, like the dialogue wheel choices and romances, aren't going to be featured in Anthem. Is this baseless? Should I be worried? Mark replies, no romances in Anthem. We are focusing on different character interactions. No dialogue wheel, but there will be some dialogue choices. So it's not going to be like Mass Effect. You can't choose what you want to say in the dialogue wheel at the bottom. So that's that. So Brandon asks, how do different weather conditions come about? Are they triggered by scenarios and certain areas on the map? Are they on a cycle like day and night cycle? Or are they simply random? Mark Darrow replies, they are controlled by server. Again, he didn't answer the question, but I'm assuming that they cycle through night and day, just like how they normally do. I think there was another tweet that said every 30 minutes it cycles to something. I can't remember, but there's a certain allotted time, then it starts to switch to nighttime. I forgot if it was 3 hours or 30 minutes. I can't remember, but it does cycle for the course of time and then it changes. So as far as colors in the customization of a Javelin, Mr. Yeti asks if they're going to be a free range to what colors we are going to get to put on the suits, or is it like Destiny where you have the shaders and you can only have those particular colors? Mark replies, I believe we do have a full color wheel. So all the colors you could think of, you could probably customize each part by part. I think Mark's saying that you can customize each part into a different color, which that would be pretty cool if you can do that. So that'll be hot. As far as the editions, you can get, you know, the standard and the Legion of Dawn edition. Game On replies, so for everyone that knows this is concrete, is Anthem gonna have a collector's edition, or is the Legion of Dawn edition going to be the highest edition? Only the two editions we have already announced are currently planned. So yep, that pretty much it. I don't think there's gonna be a collector's edition. So that is that. And lastly, Sebastian asks, the Colossus has a shield. Does the other Javelins have a special ability as well, or is it only the Colossus? Mark replies, yes, each has some form of damage mitigation. For the Colossus, it's a shield. So now we know that each Javelin has some form of ability to deflect attacks. I'm betting the Storm has a force field that it mitigates damage to him by popping a bubble. So it might be something like that, but that's pretty cool that you can have at least some ability to block attacks. So that about wraps it up for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed what we talked about today. Please like and subscribe and make sure you ring the bell, all right, guys, so that way you can see my video when I do drop one. All right, so till next time, this is your boy Crisis20, and I'll catch you guys at another Anthem video. Peace.